Hello and welcome to this week's tarot reading for the week ahead. I'm Keziah Gibbons, my pronouns are she and her, and I'm the founder of the Guided by Keziah app. So I'll talk you through our spread this week and then we'll go ahead and pull some cards. It's a very simple spread, just 3 cards, but as you probably know, 3 cards is enough to be quite powerful. And this is based on the work of Gerard Egan, Egan's problem-solving model. And you'll also find some nice explanations of that in Dr. Graham Dexter's work, which is on the guided app. He's got the Droplets of Wisdom and the 10 Ways to Get to Know Yourself Better course. So they're both good references if you decide that you like this model. So I'll talk you through it very, very briefly, and then let's pull some cards. So we've got 3 positions, and the first position is the current problem. So I'm using the word problem rather than issue or any other word, but I would like to invite you to think of it as a problem is something to be solved. So you may at school have sat down with a page of maths problems. They weren't problems in the sense of something that causes issues, but there were problems in the sense of something that needed to be solved in a specific way, and you may have enjoyed that more or less depending on your affinity for maths, but that's what we understand by problem. And I'd just invite you to apply that to any problem that you have at the moment if you're working through a problem, to look at it as a puzzle to be solved rather than a problem that causes issues. And even that sort of subtle shift in perspective can be very empowering. So our first position is the current problem, and this may describe any current problem that you are working with, that you are in the process of solving or puzzling over. So often when we have a problem, the kind of default way of thinking is oh, I have a problem, what am I going to do about it? So you might expect the next position to be, here's the problem, what needs to be done about it? But with Egan's problem solving model, we do that slightly differently, because if we just do something reactively in reaction to the problem, we might end up taking an action that moves us away from the current problem, but puts us into the next problem, out of the frying pan into the fire, as it were. So we need to be a little bit more mindful about what we're going to do here. So before we get to what needs to be done about the problem, we have a very important question, which is what do I want instead? And this is position 2 of this particular spread. What do I want instead? So we have the current problem. What's this puzzle that needs to be solved? And then what do you want instead? How would you like things to be instead? And so the card that comes up here might give us some options, some ideas, some prompts for that to help to create in our hearts and minds and souls what could be possible if we were not stuck in this problem. And then we come back to this middle position. So this is in the middle of these 2, but it's actually position number 3. And that's, how am I going to achieve this? Or how do I get from the current problem to the desired state? And you'll see here I've drawn little arrows. So although this is position 3, this how is going to show us how to get from the problem to what we want instead. And it's like a bridge taking us from one to the other. So it's a really, really simple spread, but quite a powerful one. So I'll invite you to take a deep breath and just set your intention to receive what you need. So the first position then is the current problem. And this is interesting. So what's come up here is the Three of Cups. So I'll just hold this Three of Cups up for you, and I'm using the This Might Hurt tarot deck by Isabella Rotman before we go any further, just so you know which deck I'm using. So the current problem, we've got the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups doesn't often come up in a position of being problematic. Because it's a card that's traditionally associated with friendship, with getting on with each other very well, with this kind of close community associated with close friendships. And so in this deck, what we've got is quite a traditional depiction. You've got three people who are dancing together there, and they're wearing, they're all sort of wearing comfortable but pretty clothes, so sort of jeans, nice tops. They've done their hair. They've got shoes that look varying ways of sort of comfortable, practical, and pretty. So one of them's even barefoot, but they're dancing together in a trio. They've all got their cups raised, those three cups raised. And at their feet are pumpkins, a load of pumpkins growing on the ground around them. So that reminds us that threes are about growth. So where they're at a point in the suit, so in this case, the suit of cups, where things are already starting to grow. It's not like the ace, which is the seed, but it's not like the, 7 to 10, which is coming more towards the harvest. But it's a point of growth. And because this is a card of friendship, I'm going to read this very, very simply into what is the current problem and put it in the category of social and friendship problems. So if there is something that you're puzzling over in the social and friendship sphere, then this reading might particularly be for you and to help you to work through that. And so it's not necessarily that a friendship or a social relationship is a problem, although it may be for some of you, but more that there may be things that you're puzzling over or trying to solve or resolve in this sphere that needs some attention. And this card invites us to just put our attention there for the duration of this reading, and of course, any time afterwards while you're conscious, you're unconscious, your heart, whatever parts of you, possibly your heart, given that this is a cups card that's first come up, process the reading as well. So you may have things come to you in the next few days that help you to solve or resolve anything that's been puzzling you. And the next position then, position number 2, what do you want instead? So this is just an invitation to us from the cards to envision the way things could be instead. And what we've got here is the Page of Wands. So here we've got a young person, and in this deck they're holding a stringed instrument. I don't know if that's maybe a ukulele, a small guitar. I'm really sorry, I'm musically ignorant, but I know that people watching this will be ready to provide the information. But they're holding a small instrument. They're wearing a t-shirt and jeans, looks quite comfortable. They're out in a desert landscape. And so the Page of Wands is about, all pages are about, well, they can be about new starts. So it may be that for some of you watching this, actually in a social or friendship situation, you want a new start, whether that's creating a new friendship or new social situation, or whether that is about like starting over in some way. We can, with very established social and friendship situations, we can sometimes find ourselves stuck in patterns. And so perhaps that's about changing a pattern as well. But the ones is about energy, it's about fire, it's about creativity and passion. So it's definitely an invitation for fresh energy. So these two cards together give us this question of how can we bring fresh energy in social or friendship situations? How can we do that? And sometimes with the Egan model, we might even ask how many different ways can we do this? So I'm just going to invite you to percolate as we draw the next card, to just allow your unconscious mind to start to generate perhaps more than one, more than two, but many different ways of bringing fresh energy into the situations where you'd like fresh energy, and how many ways can you do that? And then we'll invite the cards to give us a little pointer as to what might work, what possibilities are there for us. And we've got the Queen of Cups, so it's another Cups card. Um, So the cups, as I mentioned, about the heart, about emotions, and it's interesting because that's the same suit as the current problem, so the situation that we're puzzling over that we might want to change. So it's inviting us to find ways that already exist, because we've got these cups here and we've got these cups there. And the Queen of Cups is an archetype. I'll just describe the card. So in this card, the Queen of Cups, she's sitting on a like a deck chair, beach chair, on the shore. She's got her back to the ocean, facing us, although her eyes are closed. The gentle sea is kind of lapping up just to where her chair is, and you can just see sand in the foreground. There is a crown floating above her head and a full moon and a starry sky in the background, also reflecting on that ocean. And her cup is a lovely sort of bowl-shaped cup, very nicely decorated, and she's just holding it in front of her belly, and she's got a lovely, comfortable looking belly. And she's just holding that there, and she's got her eyes closed, and it's kind of like she's feeling into it or sensing into it. And this is one of the Queen of Cups superpowers, really, is about sensing into how she's feeling. So perhaps if you have been having a puzzle or a problem in a social or friendship situation, firstly, just going into how you're feeling is a really, really good first step to take before you go about bringing the fresh energy in. Just check in with what the energy is at the moment, and specifically with the energy that you're bringing. So, how aware are you of your emotions, and are you acting on emotion in any way? The Queen of Cups challenge, or the Queen of Cups invitation, is about taking responsibility for our emotions. So anything you're feeling is valid, because emotions can't not be valid. Okay, so whatever you're feeling, it's valid. It's deserving of being honored, of being respected, and of you specifically with the cups creating that container of time, of space, of whatever it is that you need to process that emotion. And then it's up to you, and the question is what's appropriate? How much of that emotion are you going to let it spill over? Are you going to pour it on someone else? Are you going to allow anyone else to pour their emotions into your cup? So how are you caring for that cup of your emotions, what's in your heart? Are you acknowledging your emotions? Are you honoring your emotions? Are you tending to your emotional state? Are you giving yourself time and space to process whatever emotion you have, and whatever emotion you have is valid? Are your emotions spilling out, or anyone else's emotions spilling into you? So these are the questions that the Queen of Cups has for us. And so with this particular reading, It's a really nice. The Queen's also about maturity. The Monarch's always about maturity. We have 4 court cards in any suit, and the Kings and Queens are the adults of the suit. They have maturity, they have experience, they have wisdom. So it's a nice, mature way to start to make changes. If there are changes that you want to make in in a social, might well be emotional, in a social or friendship situation, if you want to bring some fresh energy in, are you first taking responsibility for and tending to your own emotions, and also how are you containing your emotional body, and containing yourself separately from other people's emotional bodies. And so once you take that step of being conscious about that, being intentional about that, and the Queen of Cups is very intuitive as well. So once you're doing that, you will find that intuitively you might feel what's next in your heart. Then that sort of fresh energy will start to move in, to come in. And so that might be, because it's another court card there, that Page of Wands. Court cards can represent people, aspects of yourself, but also of other people. That fresh energy might be attracting new people into that social friendship circle. But it might also be about yourself and others around you showing up in a new way, in a fresh way, perhaps revitalized, given that fiery one's energy, perhaps feeling enthusiastic once more, where you might not necessarily have done so before. And the Page of Wands really is about sort of feeling out and trying out new space energetically. So, you might find that if your social or friendship group or relationships are starting to feel stale, you can start to try out, new things, or it's new activities that you do together, or this energy might come in many, many different ways. But first, to get to that point, check in with yourself, check in with your own heart and your own emotions. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you a wonderful rest of the week. If you would like to join me on retreat in March next year in Yorkshire, here in the UK, please do check out the High Priestess retreat. It's a small group retreat. We're going to be going very, very deep, and there is a space for you if you'd like it. So I look forward to possibly seeing you there, maybe see you in the Guided by Keziah app, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Thank you.